Okay, hi y'all, it's your girl. I have noticed recently that there's kind of a triggery, tense energy in the atmosphere on Facebook, and I myself was sort of sucked in to that this evening. In my case, it was sort of a female pain body wound, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that energy's up. And so I want to do a reading in relation to that energy. So I have my Osho Zen Tarot deck, kind of my tried and true for when I do readings that are for all of us. So this reading is based on my experience, but I know that my experience is a piece of the collective, as within, so without, all of that. So I have cleared the deck, but I'll clear it a little more just for good measure. Okay, so I am Jessica Renee Monroe, and I call on my guides, guardians, angels, and ancestors to show up for me and everyone who is meant to receive this reading. May the people who need this message find it just the right time, and it is my hope that they feel seen and reflected back. We're all part of the same puzzle. Okay, so I kind of know that I'm filming this video to put on YouTube. The last one I just put on there, but I'm nervous now because I know that I'm filming it to put on YouTube. Isn't that funny how that happens? But, I don't need to be nervous. Like, the energy, it's the same. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay. So the first card I pulled is the Patience card. It's really lovely. You've got like a Gaia goddess figure, pregnant, full breasts, and you've got the faces of the moon at the top, and there's rainbow coloring in her skirts. Plants all around her. Her hair is like a river. Suit of rainbows. Let's take a peek at that. Okay, this card is so perfect. So it just talks about waiting and the power of waiting and how that is one of our greatest gifts and abilities that we overlook and we forget. And the reason it's perfect is that there's two parts to it. If I had waited and took a moment to pause upon seeing a post with a caption that kind of tipped me off, it was going to be about men and kind of a negative angle. And so first there, if I had paused and been like, is this content going to enrich me? Do I need this perspective and this energy? I might have been able to avoid the trigger altogether, but life isn't about avoiding triggers, right? Life is about moving through them. So the second layer of patience where waiting would have been appropriate is when you're triggered, you're in a volatile, kind of shaky, charged space. And so that is not the appropriate time to talk to someone about the topic of your trigger and your issue. You really should be patient and wait until you've come through the other side of your trigger and kind of pass through the birth canal of that trigger and that emotional turmoil and experience. So patience makes a great deal of sense there. It is our greatest treasure to be able to wait for the right moment. Even trees know it. When it is time to bring flowers and when it is time to let go of all the leaves and stand naked against the sky. They are still beautiful in that nakedness, waiting for the new foliage with the great trust that the old has gone and the new will soon be coming and the new leaves will start growing. So it's also about faith, and I think people with complex PTSD, We really need faith, especially in the beginning when we're volatile and easily triggered and triggered like all the time, it seems. Once we can cultivate the practice of patience and flowing through the trigger, I think faith can emerge, Faith that, okay, I feel raw about this. Let's delve a little deeper. Let's dig into that. Let's figure out why. And then we can kind of flow through and shift, But the faith that the new will soon be coming, the new leaves will start growing. So if we're talking about PTSD in relation to that, like new ways of showing up, having patience at a trigger before we act and say something we don't want to say and start a charged kind of conversation, like that's the new growth, Pausing, pulling back, having patience. This card talks about how the significance of the moon phases are this woman waits through the whole moon cycle. Like, it's a long time. I don't think we need to wait that long. But patience, flowing with the energies. I think we've gotten to the bottom of that card. Let's see the next one. Celebration. So this card's really cool. This card talks about, I think this is the Three of Cups in regular tarot. Someone who knows more about tarot could say. But, so this card talks about how you don't need a special event to celebrate. You should celebrate your life like every day, all the time. Let me peek at the guidebook just to like make sure I'm not missing important nuances. Okay, I'm glad that I did look at the guidebook because there's good stuff. There's always good stuff in the guidebook. Read your guidebooks, folks. So, celebration never need to depend on outside circumstances. In this card, the figures are splashing in the puddles and dancing in the rain. They're like celebrating the storm. A lot of people are like, oh God, it's raining. It's so awful outside. But what if we took the opportunity to celebrate rain and be grateful for that weather and the nourishing abundance it represents, True celebration arises from a joy that is first experienced deep within and spills over into an overflow of song and dance and laughter, and yes, even tears of gratitude. When you choose this card, it indicates that you are becoming more and more available and open to the many opportunities that are to celebrate in life and to spread this contagion to others. So I love this card, and this card feels like it's speaking personally to me because I, as people on Facebook and Instagram know, have been struggling quite a bit in the last few months with like all of my pets dying and moving out for the first time. But I had a shift. I had a really great shift 2 nights ago, the night before the full moon in Aquarius. And then the day following that full moon, I felt, even though I was kind of sleep deprived, I felt pretty joyous throughout the day. And I just felt like celebrating, and I wanted to dance and sing to music and just play. And I hadn't felt that energy bubble up for a while. And I felt really radiant that day. I think it was yesterday. And I was like, gosh, can't remember the last time I took a selfie just for the sake of taking a selfie and like feeling myself, which indicates to me that I haven't been like that happy in a while. And when I was in that space, I was feeling like people throughout my life have told me like, wow, you're such a light, you really can be warm and warm to be around. But that's not true when I'm really depressed and struggling. I don't like glow and radiate the way that I felt that I was yesterday. Energetically, you can feel when someone is joyous, energy is contagious and it like bubbles over. So this card speaking about spreading the contagion of celebratory and joyous energy really speaks to me and makes a lot of sense. So if I were to try to encourage that to you guys, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot is my social media presence. And one of my big things is showing up in my hardship and my difficulty, because I don't think we talk enough about how we all struggle, and we struggle with, mental illness, anxiety, depression, things that are really just symptoms of PTSD or stressful childhoods. Like, I'm trying to find the balance. Ooh, my ear's ringing. I'm trying to find the balance between showing up authentically in that space. Like, I'm not trying to silence myself, and then showing up in a celebratory, joyous space. And that has to come from balance within myself first. You know, I can't change how I am. But these are things that I've been thinking about a lot. And I encourage you to think about too. What's the ratio of depression, shadow work, density, darkness, ooh, my ear's still ringing, to joy in your life, to gratitude, to beauty? Are they equal? Could you balance them out more? The celebration card talks about how life is a party. I'm hearing Pink's God is a DJ song, you know, life is a dance floor, you get what you're given. Like, we get to create how we feel, like neurochemical imbalances aside. And even still, gratitude is a great way to shift your frequency. Just this card and what it represents is a great way to look at, like, oh wow, like how much better it feels to view life as a celebration and a party and this like ecstatic, I don't know, Sufi take on life, you know? We really should, in my opinion, I need this medicine more. I need more joy. I need more celebration. And I've been trying to call it in. I put on music. I'm trying to dance more. I put on music when I'm cleaning. I talk to someone on the phone. So let's see. Maybe there's one more card. Should I pull off the top or shuffle? Just the top, I think. Harmony. And there's dolphins on it. Oh my God, you guys. I was watching an Instagram video earlier on the topic of joy. And a woman, one of the women in the Instagram video talked about a woman telling an anecdote about dolphins, and they played dolphin sounds because dolphins represent joy, and so that really ties into the celebration card. Ooh, man, I love when readings come together and they're just like juicy and delicious. So I'll give you a peek of this card. I know my camera's not the best. Please forgive me. Harmony, dolphins. The dolphins are coming from his heart and kind of swooping around to his third eye. Let us consult the guidebook. Okay, you guys, this card is really cool. So like I said, it talks about the heart arcing to the third eye, and it goes into how meditation, you know, as we grow more and more in tune with the rhythms of our own inner silences, we can experience the sweetness and delicacy, like, of your own experience, you know? That came out a little clunky, but what I mean is, the experience of resting in the heart and meditation is not something that can be grasped or forced. It comes naturally as we grow more and more in tune with the rhythms of our own inner silences. So it talks about playfulness and intelligence that comes when we are able to connect with the heart and move into the world from there. And the part that's the most important about this card, let yourself be softer and more receptive now, because an inexpressible joy is waiting for you just around the corner. One of the things I really noticed with this particular trigger was how quickly I moved through it and shifted out of pain. It was like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It was fast. And even when I was in the trigger, it started to just sort of soften and break down as I paused and waited to respond. It was like, oh wait, like, I don't actually want to have an argument here. I want to have an understanding. And rather than it being me versus the other person, I want it to be us versus like the problem, you know, because we're a team. And how does that relate to what I'm talking about? Being softer and more receptive. And I love making videos and creating content and pulling cards and weaving meaning. So there really is joy when you are patient, when you're in a triggered space and you wait until things feel softer and not so edgy. And, you know, I think the celebration card's really just here as a reminder to balance joy with important shadow work that is meaningful. Make sure it's in balance and you're doing both. Be aware of that balance. And then, yeah, the harmony card just encouraging us to be softer and more receptive. Basically, this reading is about softness, which is really cool because I experience triggers and trauma as like contraction, constriction, hard, rigid angles, like tight, unpleasant energy. And so it makes sense to me that the medicine and the cards that I pull in relation to that are flowy and soft and are saying, hey, be patient, bring in some joy and lightness, doesn't have to be so heavy and dense, like it's okay. And tune into your inner rhythms, meditate, find the harmony there, realize that joy is going to come back around for you, you know, like the more work I do on my spiritual path, the more that I realize I struggle a lot more than I need to. And I drag myself through like the fucking pit of misery and hell. And it's like, it's ingrained and it's from my childhood and I'm unlearning it. But with moments like this, in these last couple of days, I just feel like I'm getting a glimpse into how life can be and will be for me and other people that want life to be different, That feels complete to me. I hope this reading served you. If it did, please let me know. I enjoy creating these because it's good practice for me and it taps on my writer energy, but I also do it to help people. So please let me know if you felt supported by this. I'm going to post it on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Okay. I think that's it for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.